Our next guest is Andre Johnson. He's a Trinidad-born author, writer, director, producer, cinematographer, and actor based in Canada. He's a Humber College postgraduate, TV writing and producing, he's a winner also of the Brian Linehan TV writing, I'm so sorry about that, and producing scholarship awarded for outstanding talent, creativity, and a keen intellect. He's a video operator at CBC Radio Canada for 2 years, and he also happens to have a UWI bachelor's degree, double major with honors in film production and film studies, as well as a COSTAT associate degree in management information systems. And if that's not enough, he is now the author of the novel, The Moorish Trilogy Part One. He's also the winner of the TTFC $200,000 call for short film scripts for the now completed Sweet TNT, which is available on YouTube, and a $30,000 script development grant for the film feature Legs. We now join Mr. Johnson to tell us more about his work and most recently his book that he's about to share with us, The Moorish Trilogy, and I understand that it has some references to Shakespeare's Othello.
Yes, it does. First of all, thank you for having me, Ardeen. The Morris Trilogy is a prequel to Shakespeare's Othello. I got the idea when I was researching a monologue from Othello. And there was this section where he described why Desdemona fell in love with him. And that was because of his journeys and his adventures before he got to Venice. And so I wondered why someone wouldn't write about those journeys and adventure. So I set off to do some research, right? To find out, first of all, if anyone has done a prequel. And it seems as though no one has done a prequel to Othello. So Othello is Othello, the Moor of Venice. So my first question was, who are the Moors?
Right.
And much to my consternation, I find out that the Moors ruled Spain from 711 to 1492. The Moors are predominantly black people from North Africa, of the Muslim faith. It's actually the Umayyad Caliphate that they went to Spain at the invitation of the Visigoths, who ruled Spain at that time. The Visigoths were a form of German. They were German, living under the Roman Empire.
Well, you do seem to have a...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating, I think, to delve into the history to be able to bring this to life. And, I mean, you clearly, I'm sure you're a fan, you must be a fan of Shakespeare as well.
Absolutely.
Yes. And so I'm intrigued as well to know if there's anything about the character Othello, apart from his adventures, that inspired you to want to sort of expand his life, his fictional life.
It's ironic in the setting that Shakespeare chose to put Othello. Othello was a general, right? And that as a general, he was so crucial that when the Syrians were attacking, that they had to find Othello to ward off the armada of Syrian ships. And although there was a complaint against him for using witchcraft to get this white woman, they ignored that because he was so crucial to the defense of Venice that they override that, and they needed him that much. So I want to know, why is he so crucial to the defense of a whole country or state at that time?
And would you say that you have a particular interest in European history as well, Mr. Johnson?
Absolutely, because it impacted us. it shaped the world. The world as it is today, we would wonder why things are the way they are today. And if you search history, you'd get a greater understanding of, well, there's an old adage, you cannot know where you're going if you do not know where you came from. So if you do not know your history, then it's hard to figure out where you're heading.
So this is a trilogy, and it's part one. Where are you in terms of parts 2 and 3?
I already, from the inception of the book, I had the concept of part 2 and part 3. Part 1 is told from the POV of the antagonist, Captain Hawk. So I needed you to be in Captain Hawk's shoes to feel what Othello was doing to him and his armies, right? So part 2 will be told in the POV of Othello, and it will fill in some of the missing POV that you could only have, like sharing the thoughts of Othello. And part 3 goes to Europe.
Would you sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just wondering if you would consider this like a major work for you, a seminal work for you, because it seems to be a really significant undertaking. I mean, it's no small feat to take a Shakespearean character and create a prequel for him. So I'm wondering where this fits into the entire body of work that you have already generated.
So I'll share this with you. I thought that this would have been my deathbed work, because once I considered it, I knew it would be a heavy undertaking. It actually took me 5 years to do, consistently 5 years to put together, just part 1. And I thought, when I first conceived it, I thought this would take at least the rest of my life to put together. But for some reason, because it's, first of all, my first duty is to entertain. I'm not just going to just give you history. History is the backdrop of this story, but this story entertains. It brings forth relationship between characters. It explores love. It explores loss. It explores betrayal. It even ironically deals to a great extent with the Black Plague, right?
Ah.
So that was part of it, and now we live in COVID. So it's kind of like
is it a tragedy?
Coincidence.
Would you describe it as a tragedy?
Well, no, not this. The Othello is a tragedy.
Yes.
Right? But before that tragedy, Othello was victorious. He was notorious. He was so notorious that a whole country depended on him for their defense. He was that crucial, right? According to Shakespeare, right? And for Shakespeare didn't do too many Black protagonists, right? Beside Titus Andronicus, Othello is the only other one only other Black protagonist that he had. So for him to reach Shakespeare's attention, then he must have fascinated Shakespeare.
So are you thinking of a film in the works?
Absolutely. I'm always thinking film. I'm guilty. I'm always thinking film.
The storyline does seem to lend itself seamlessly to a film adaptation.
Yeah, because it's all visual. I can't. I played the whole book was played over the 5 years before my eyes. All the battles. Othello is really an adaptation of Saladin, right? The Muslim leader during the time of the Crusades, where King Richard the Lionheart. They had a rivalry during the crusade that lasted decades, right? But it's heavily written about. So I adapted. Hawk is more like Richard the Lionheart, and Othello takes from Saladin, and I also take some from Shakespeare, so that I can get context. And my extensive research provides a total historical context for this. So the history is accurate that surrounds the story as you read it. The story now is a fiction of my imagination,
Right.
and the relationships as they form, as they go along, as they fall, as they rise, and the whole. It's not a soap opera type. It's more like a chase. It's a constant chase and battle and chase and chase and chase. So it's a mobile. So they chase across North Africa from Egypt to Libya to Carthage, right? And then across to Granada, Spain, right? So this is an epic journey, really. And also I borrowed Hannibal.
Yes.
Hannibal, who conquered Europe with elephants. So
Right.
there are elephants, there are tigers, panthers that used in battle, trained and used in battle and stuff. So it's, I had a lot of fun putting this
It
together.
sounds like it. It sounds like you had a lot of fun doing it. But I'm curious about the process of getting this book, having it edited, for instance, and engaging others to have a look at it. When I know that you have a publisher, and I'm
Yes,
just wondering what that process was like for you after having written it, now having to hand it over and get someone else to review and edit, etc.
So I began shopping it around as a nobody, and there were so many no's, so many people who refused this idea. I love this idea, but I didn't get much interest for a while, and then finally one day I'm minding my own business, and this publisher gets back to me and say they love the idea and they would like to publish me. So that was,
That's
and
fantastic.
then, yeah.
Well,
So then
can
they
you tell us
started
where
taking- Go ahead.
Can you tell us where the book is available as we wrap up?
Oh yeah, it's available online at all major bookstores, and through distribution, it's gonna get to the brick and mortar stores. So Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and it's available in China, all over the world.
And this is your debut novel, yes?
Yes, it is. It is.
Fantastic. So I think you need to be linking up with the Boca Slit Fest here in Trinidad and Tobago. You should reach out to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, Andre, it sounds epic. I do look forward to getting a hold of it and to parts 2 and 3 as well, and to the eventual adaptation.
Thank you, Adine, for having me.
Great.
And I hope you guys are faring very well during this COVID. This is a strange time we're living in, and I pray for Trinidad and Tobago every day, my home.
Thank you very much. And hats off to you, the creatives, who continue to work through this time.
It's a loveless work, but if you don't love it, you can't do it.
Okay, Andre, thank you so much. And that brings us to the end of that interview. We head to another break, but we are going to have another look at the traffic situation, this time in San Juan. This is Equaze here. Still quite calm, a few folks around.